I want to put you guys on a mission. So here's the thing. I noticed with this particular story, it's very weird. I got to give some disclaimers before I say some of this stuff. But I wanted to know the identity of the person that harmed this baby that you guys just saw on my screen. Let me back the picture up because that's probably my favorite picture of her right here. Beautiful, innocent little angel. And I have the dad's first, middle, last name, and age, and no picture. No picture at all. And why they still out popping fireworks? This is July the 9th. What is wrong with these people? Anyway, I live around degenerates. But I was just curious as to, it seemed like somebody went through on the internet and literally scrubbed his picture from everywhere, from whether it be like mugshot websites or anything like that. I could not find the father of this little girl who ended her life, could not find this picture. I'm confused about that, and I want to put everybody on a mission that I want to find his face because I think that this story deserves that level of justice. So before we get into the details, let me give you guys a disclaimer, and then we will go from there after I move this. There we go. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And I'm getting this news article from KEYT.com. I have no idea what that is, but most of the information was about the same. So anyway, this is out of Bethany, Oklahoma. I am familiar with Bethany, Oklahoma. Shout out to my people out there. I got some people that actually work and live out there in Bethany. Okay. So this story hits a little different when it occurs in places that you've been. Now, court records show that a father who shot and killed his 6-year-old daughter before turning the gun on himself has a history of violence. And I think that was actually why I pulled this particular article, because I wanted to stress that point. So let me say it again. He had a history of violence. That's the biological mother. She did a public interview. Otherwise, I wouldn't have shown the son that's on her right-hand side or her left-hand side on the right-hand side of the screen. But they actually did a public interview, so I will actually show that here in a little bit by way of fair usage. So, if you deal with a person, hashtag when you date thugs, you date death, and I think of thug as an action, not a skin color. So when I say thug, I think of this father as a thug based on his actions. So you out here committing violence, I'm assuming it was probably some domestic violence in there, and then you turn around and do this to your own child. Here's what you don't hear and you won't hear. You won't hear people say things like, we don't know what he was going through mentally. We wonder what the mother must have put him through. Maybe he was suffering from mental illness, right? In situations like this, usually when it's men, you are not going to hear a lot of people clamoring for mental illness. But here's the caveat, like I like to say. The caveat is, I don't want that excuse used for anybody. I don't give a damn if it's black, white, Mexican, Latino, legal or illegal, black or white. It don't matter to me, men or women. I don't want anybody to have any excuses when they hurt, murder, or abuse children, period. That's why we're the AFC. We advocate for children. I think that makes sense. So this man having a history of violence, to me, the history should show you that this man should never be around your kids. So hold that thought. We'll come back to it. On Sunday, and here's his name if y'all want to look it up. Billy, B-I-L-L-Y, middle name R-A-Y, Ray, Billy Ray Feaster, F-E-A-S-T-E-R, Feaster, Billy Ray Feaster, if y'all want to look that up. He's 29 years old, or was, because he took his life. And his 6-year-old daughter, this angel right here, her name is Elizabeth Feaster. 6 years old, but her name is spelled Elizibeth. So they spelled it a little bit unique. They were found dead in the backyard of a home in Bethany, Oklahoma. Now, officers with the Bethany Police Department said it appeared to be a murder-suicide. It doesn't get any worse than this. This is an absolute terrible and tragic event, according to Chief J.D. Reed with the Bethany Police Department. Now, court records, so this is not a, what do they call that? Alleged. This is actually on record. Court records show that Feaster was in a custody battle with the mother of his children beginning in 2018. They were in a custody battle. In my opinion, when you're in these type of situations, you have to be way more sensitive, especially knowing that somebody is probably going to be really, really, truly emotionally bothered, especially when you're talking about whether, like, how often they can see their own kids. That just puts people in a really, really weird mental space. Okay? There was a specific in there that he was not to be alone with the children. Let me read that again. There was a specific in there that he was not, N-O-T, not to be alone with the children. Now that is a hell of a caveat, is it not? That's according to a legal expert by the name of Ed Blau, B-L-A-U. In the end, the judge gave the mom full custody and gave the dad supervised visitation for 4 to 6 hours a week. So to me, that actually shows that he presents a danger, a clear danger to his kids, especially if you have to watch him at all times when he's around those kids, okay? Now, looking at court records, Blau said that the arrangement was in place leading up to Sunday's tragedy. It looks like the agreement has been in place since March of 2020. It's at least 5 years. There were no additional filings regarding requests for emergency hearings or anything of that nature. Now, the mother of Feaster's children, I think her name is, what is her name? I forgot her name. I can pull it up real quick. Hold on. Because she does an interview here. I don't have it right in front of me. Maybe I'll have to tag it. Actually, hold on, because she just did an interview. Tiana Folk, that's her name right there. You see it on the bottom of the screen. The mother of Feaster's children filed for a paternity ruling or child custody back in December 2018. In that filing, court documents say that the mother claimed Feaster broke her phone so she could not call the police when he became violent. The same weekend, the petitioner witnessed Billy physically kick their 3-year-old son. The only thing that stands out to me is the fact that the judge only awarded him supervised visitation. The law presumes joint custody and equal time. For a parent to have to file an order that only grants supervised visitation, there had to have been some real concerns on behalf of the judge. Again, that's why I don't think he should have been around these kids. Now, court records also show that Feaster tried to file a protective order against the woman after she filed for custody of the children. But a judge dismissed that in March of 2020. The judge heard both cases and in the end dismissed the VPO that was filed by Billy against the mom. Bethany police are still investigating a possible motive. So I think we know what the motive is. He's controlling. He's hateful. He's an evil person. And he did this. You found him. I'm trying to tell you, if you think you found the picture of him, it is very, very hard to find. I've been looking on the internet for hours, and I had difficulty doing it. So I'm going to check the email here in just a second and see what you came up with. So if you got it, that'd be awesome. That'd be really, really awesome. But for him to be that level of danger You know, you had to have seen this becoming like a buildup. And all you could do is really just live up to what the court order is. So if you had supervised visitation, cool. But I think what ended up happening, and I don't quite remember, but I think they ended up trying to operate like let him see his kid like one time outside of that perimeter. I don't quite know that to be a fact. But let me give you guys the fair usage and we'll take a look at the couple of news videos. So here we go.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
And if y'all would do me a favor, please hit that thumbs up. Please hit that thumbs up. It helps us more than you guys know. So if you're watching, you're listening right now, help us out quite a bit. Hit that thumbs up, please. Take a look at these news videos. Let's get it.
Yeah, guys, these court documents show a violent incident in 2018 with the child's father. Now, that same child's mother got full custody, but tried to prevent visitation.
It doesn't get any worse than this. This is an absolute terrible and tragic event.
A tragic murder-suicide still under investigation in Bethany after a 6-year-old and her father were found dead Sunday. Police say 29-year-old Billy Feaster shot his daughter before turning the gun on himself.
And there was a specific in there that he was not allowed to be alone with the children.
Legal expert Ed Blau talked to us about what public court records show, a custody battle with the mother of his children starting in 2018.
In the end, the judge gave mom full custody and gave dad supervised visitation for 4 to 6 hours a week.
And Blau says, looking at the court records, the arrangement was in place leading up to the time of the tragedy Sunday.
It looks like the agreement has been in place since March of 2020. There were no additional filings regarding requests for emergency hearings or anything of that nature.
However, the mother of Billy Feaster's children filed for a paternity ruling, or child custody, back in December of 2018. In that filing, the court documents say the mother claimed Billy broke her phone so she could not call police when he became violent. The documents also say, quote, the same weekend, the petitioner witnessed Billy physically kick their 3-year-old son.
The only thing that stands out to me is the fact that the judge only awarded him supervised visitation. The law presumes joint custody equal time. And for a parent to have a final order that only grants supervised visitation, there had to have been some real concerns on behalf of the judge.
The court records also show Billy then tried to file a protective order against this woman right after she filed for custody of the kids. But a judge dismissed that in March 2020.
The same judge heard both cases and in the end dismissed the VPO that was filed by Billy against the mom.
And we're still waiting to hear an official motive for all this from Bethany Police. In Bethany tonight, Jason Berger, KOCO 5 News.
Tonight, we're getting new details about a murder-suicide in Bethany.
It happened yesterday morning. Police called to a home after they say a father shot and killed his 6-year-old daughter and then himself.
News 4's Mecca Thompson has new information.
Bethany police are at a loss for words as they investigate this terrible tragedy.
I need to have a police officer over at my house. I think my son shot himself and his daughter.
Bethany police officers rushing to this home on Northwest 42nd Street.
Went into the backyard and did locate 2 deceased bodies in the backyard. The male subject is identified as Billy Feaster, age 29 years old, and the victim is 6-year-old Elizabeth Feaster.
The child's mother and suspect sister inside the home at the time of the shootings. Feaster's father making the frantic call for help.
This is an absolute terrible and tragic event, and I can't imagine the family. I mean, this hurts us deeply.
Police say the family has been cooperative.
The mother was in and out, and the wellness unit was, driving her to get, water, some basic things, giving her a break from, being at the scene before coming back.
Investigators stayed on the scene for about 5 hours Sunday, trying to piece together what happened.
Anytime a young child is involved in any type of event like this, it is a shock to everybody. I mean, you know, you can't explain it. There's just no way to explain something like this. We're on the outside looking in. This is absolute tragic for the family. Our thoughts and prayers are with that family.
In Bethany, Mecca Thompson, Oklahoma's News 4.
6-year-old little girl. Police say they've made contact with Feaster in the past on prior incidents to this. The motive behind the murder-suicide is being investigated. A full report from the medical examiner is expected in the coming months.
Yeah, Evan, neighbors I spoke with earlier today in that neighborhood tell me it's tragic. They say they knew that little girl because she played with that neighbor's grandkids, and this whole situation, arriving to see all of those officers, turning that neighborhood into a crime scene. I mean, even the chief was at a loss for words.
You can't explain it. There's just no way to explain something like this.
Bethany Police Chief J.D. Reed at a loss for words Monday when trying to make sense of the murder-suicide that happened in this neighborhood Sunday morning. Officers first arrived to Northwest 42nd Street around 11:30 a.m., all to find 29-year-old Billy Feaster and 6-year-old Elizabeth dead in the backyard, a gun next to them. Officers worked the scene for hours, along with the help of a wellness team that was there to support the family members who they say were home and sleeping at the time of the shooting.
I can't speak highly enough of the wellness unit and how much they help us out there.
The chief says it was the little girl's grandfather who first dialed 911. Investigators are now looking into how this all started, who that gun belonged to, and whether mental health was an issue here. The chief encourages families, if they see anything they believe can escalate a situation,
Reach out to the police. Reach out. There's plenty of helplines you can call these days.
I want y'all to hear them say this, because this is one of the things that I've been saying for a long time. I know I didn't come up with it, but I like to lay claim to it. Listen to what he says. If you see something, what does he say?
Reach out. See something, say something.
Some of y'all get the joke because a long time ago I actually said that I came up with that. Obviously I was being facetious, but because it's been around for a long time. But I like to lay claim to the fact that I think I popularized it quite a bit. See something, say something, especially like bringing it back since I've been doing my stories on YouTube. See something, say something.
Reach out to the police. Reach out. There's plenty of helplines you can call these days. Reach out. See something, say something. And that way, hopefully, we can stop a tragic event like this from occurring again.
So hopefully at some point, these police and interviewers and news team people will start being like, hey, shout out to the AFC podcast. If you see something, say something, you know, especially since we're advocating for children. It'd be nice if they give your boy a shout out from time to time, but it's all good.
and like I said, the grandfather was the one who made that 911 call. The chief gave us that 911 call. I have it right here, but honestly, hearing how heartbroken he is, how confused over the situation, out of respect for that family, we decided not to air it at this time. Live in Bethany, Chantal Navarro, KOCO 5 News.
So again, the individual that we're looking for, his name is Billy Ray Feaster. So that picture I got, like I said, I've warned you guys, if you are able to find it, just know that it is very difficult. The internet has done a very good job of trying to scrub his information to make it to where you can't find it. Billy Ray Feaster is 29 years old. So if you're able to find that, you can email it to me, his picture, the afcmatters@gmail.com. Of course, I'll cross-reference it before I post it because I don't want to post the wrong picture, okay? So if anybody wants to take a task on that, that would be greatly helpful to us. So we could also pay tribute and homage to this angel that lost her life for absolutely no reason, to her father because her father was mad at the mom, and he decided to take it out on this angel, and she needed every opportunity to grow up and become something great, and she deserved that. So I will say to Elizabeth Feaster, young princess, R.I.P. So thank you guys so much for listening to this story. So again, we'd like to thank you guys so much for listening to the story. If I am able to find the interview with the mom and the boy, I know I have it because I took a screenshot of it. But if I have it, I will clip it and post it in there so you guys can take a look at that and hear from them. Okay? Thank you.